Welcome back. My name is Viktoria. I'm a registered clinical counselor, and I'm continuing today with this series of videos around what I wish I knew in my early 20s. That would save me a lot of heartache and just allow me to move through relationships with ease. Today, we're going to talk about how to let go of control of others while still feeling in control. That was one of the biggest predicaments that I faced. And even today, I'm still sometimes find myself challenged with this when I'm under a lot of stress. Like I slip up in my old patterns. But what's different now, with the approach I have, I'm able to catch myself much faster and then take responsibility for what I can control. I don't think I'm alone with this. I think a lot of us, when we feel anxious, try to manage the situations, relationships, people. And sometimes that management might come out in less than favored ways. We might criticize people, kind of try to dominate, express ourselves in a little bit more harsh ways to try to address our internal anxiety about uncertainty or wishing somebody did something different. Now, if you can relate, you might find the approach I use helpful for yourself as well. A little bit of self-disclosure here as well. I'll share a personal example. I am not proud of it. It certainly is not a logical reaction, but I would have really strong response in my earlier 20s, 30s, when I would come home and my partner would have moved something in our environment, like furniture, utensils, to a different location. I would find myself getting very anxious, but it would come out in anger. Like it would come out in ways where I would maybe be critical of him. So of course, while his immediate response might be he might change his behavior and not move anything around, like it helped with elevating the immediate anxiety and frustration for me. In the long term, it wasn't beneficial because it actually was detrimental to our relationship. Like whenever you make somebody feel less than or feel like they can't be at ease, that's not going to be good for the relationship. So I had to work quite hard on changing this pattern in myself. I looked into detachment theory. There's actually a lot of that stuff out there. And so it was about reading, integrating, and figuring out a strategy that would work for me. And the steps that I have defined for myself, I rooted in that self-attunement piece. Now, if you're new to the wording of self-attunement, I do encourage you to check out that video. I will link it down below where I made it the whole video about self-attunement. But essentially, like a quick thing about it is that it's the whole practice of self-attunement is turning towards yourself. Like what's going on with me? What am I feeling? What are my needs? What can be helpful to me? Whereas we often practice the opposite. We often over focus on the other person. What are they thinking? What are they wanting? What's going on with them? Why are they being so frustrated? We are trying to focus our attention on something we cannot control rather than focusing on ourselves, attuning to ourselves. Okay, so check out the video if not familiar with the attunement piece. So here are the steps I follow to help me change this pattern in myself. The first step is awareness. Becoming really aware of what behaviors you exhibit when you start spinning out of control and trying to control environment or people. So make an inventory of those behaviors. Are you becoming critical? Are you becoming like really overbearing? Are you becoming passive aggressive and withdrawing and shutting down? So make an inventory, make a list of what happens when you start to feel anxiety, when something isn't to your liking, when something isn't sort of how you'd like it to be. Make an inventory. Once you make an inventory, you become aware. Once you have an awareness, it sheds a light on what you can change and how you want to proceed further. The second step is pause, slowing things down, whichever way that can be for you, whether it's in the moment. Take a few deep breaths, do a box breathing, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. Excuse yourself, say, I gotta go use the bathroom, and then also pause, slow down, splash cold water. Slowing things down is the key to help us move into step 3. Step 3 is self-attunement. Check in with yourself. What am I feeling? Name the emotions. As I mentioned before, naming the emotions is a way to emotionally regulate, to decrease the intensity of what you're feeling. Say, I feel anxious, I feel angry, I feel frustrated, name it. The next part of that self-attunement is, what can I control? What is actually in my control? You can control how you express yourself. You can challenge your thoughts. You can emotionally regulate for a number of emotional regulation strategies. So those are the things I can control. Going back to my example around the furniture utensil moving that I mentioned, I can choose how I express myself. Rather than expressing anger and frustration and criticism, I can choose to express what's really happening for me. So what I did in that example, I would turn to my partner and say, I feel really anxious and triggered when things are being moved around. I don't know yet why. I have to figure that out. But in the meantime, it would really help if you could give me a heads up that you're going to relocate something or change something. That would really help me. So that's a very different way of controlling the experience of my emotions. Now, my partner could choose to respond and help me with that. They might not. That's totally okay. And in that case, if they might not do it that way, then I'm going to have to come up with my own strategy, how I'm going to emotionally regulate for that experience. It might be seeing a therapist, it might be journaling, it might be really taking a moment to myself when that happens. Strategies are endless, but the key here is, what can I control, not how I can control the others. That's where we can find a lot of empowerment. Now, I understand this is not an easy thing to do. This takes a lot of practice over and over and over. And you might not catch yourself in the moment right away when it's happening. That comes with practice. What you can do, if you're becoming aware of it and you catch yourself after this happened, after you reacted and responded with maybe trying to control somebody, that is okay. Take a moment to reflect and visualize in your mind of how you would respond differently. Because that rehearsal, that mental practice, is you strengthening the neural connections for the new behavioral pattern when this happens again. So do not think you failed. Think of it as a gaining new skill. Well, I hope you found some of these strategies maybe useful. If you did, please share it with others who also could benefit from it. Leave a comment down below about what you think about these steps. Do you think they could be applicable in your life? And if you think there's something missing in them for you, I would love to hear about that. And if you feel like you would like some more information, check out my blog and my website. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.